Democracy has been the building blocks for the United States. Who do you think shaped American democracy?
Among many people, I believe it was primarily Thomas Jefferson.
Starting in the 1700s, a lot of Americans had different views on democracy. However, colonists knew that they did not want to be a monarch nation like Britain. After the American colonists declared independence from Great Britain in 1776, there became debates over what kind of government the U.S. should have. Two major influences that helped shape democracy is the Federalists and the Democratic Republican parties. Alexander Hamilton, one of the main Federalists, believed in having a pro-bank national government and favored more wealthy citizens than the common man. However, Thomas Jefferson, a non-supporter of Hamilton, believed in a strict interpretation of Constitution, anti-bank, and faith in common man. Even though Federalists and Democratic Republicans had debate, James Madison wrote the Constitution in 1787, which protected all citizens' freedoms given by the government. With the debates between the Federalists and Democratic Republicans, it shaped the future on how the American government will turn away from Federalist ideals and begin to develop into more of a Jeffersonian democracy. The United States government starting to be formatted, there became a lot of new rights that citizens could express. One of those rights was that white men could vote. However, women and African Americans could not express the right to vote. With the Federalist Party destroyed, the political party known as the Democrats was made, and they are known as a common man party, state rights advocates, and did not like national banks and high tariffs. Which political leader has taken the role of the presidency and made it into a monarch?
I believe that many people felt that Andrew Jackson had too much power when he was in office, and treated the presidency similar to a monarchy.
Andrew Jackson was a member of the Democratic Party, and he was known for not wanting a national bank and wanting to hear the common man. Jackson was also known for the controversial signing of the Indian Removal Act, which forced the Native Americans out of their own land. All of these acts committed by Jackson, a lot of Americans were accusing him of being King Andrew, and a lot of Americans were worried that the U.S. would return to a monarch. With the 1800s continuing, there became the question on who can express their right to vote and what kind of democratic nation should be ran in the U.S. How has democracy helped the U.S. in social issues?
In this country, we have the right to peacefully assemble, the freedom of speech, and the freedom to protest, peacefully protest. And I think when the people make their wishes known, whether it be for women's suffrage, whether it be for equal civil rights, whether it be for this anti-discrimination or rights for the LGBT community, we make that known through our social engagement to influence our political officials to bring about that change that we want in our society.
No more King Andrew, our nation goes into the progressive era where the U.S. sees a rise in labor unions. However, with a rise of labor unions, there became a rise in workers wanting fair pay. Theodore Roosevelt, president during the progressive era, helped out workers with the Square Deal to make sure they got fair wage and fair treatment in the workplace. 30 years later, FDR made acts to bring peace and prosperity with citizens. One of those well-known acts was the Social Security Act to make sure the elderly has benefits throughout the nation. How has democracy helped the U.S. in foreign issues?
The U.S. has had a policy of helping flourish democracies across the world. And in the cases where we see atrocities and invasions of other countries and human rights being violated, we make our voice known, and in many cases we intervene to help democracy spread in other parts of the world.
In the late 1940s, the U.S. enters the Cold War against Soviet-led Joseph Stalin, who wanted a communist-run nation, while Harry Truman wanted to help out other countries threatened by the exposure of communism. The continuing of the Cold War all the way up to the 90s, the U.S. would have to deal with a lot of challenges to see what kind of democratic nation should be ran. How do you think democracy is in our current United States?
The current state of our democracy is on shaky ground, in my opinion. There are two things that I feel need to be changed to further promote real democracy and true representation of the people. The first one is ending Citizens United. There's far too much money in politics. Corporations are not people, and dark money influences too many of our elected officials. The second thing that we need to change is gerrymandering. It's really to the point now where elected officials are picking their voters instead of the voters picking their elected officials. We need to end gerrymandering to really have a true competition of ideas and more moderate voices being elected, and not the extremes on both the left and the right.
If we want democracy to flourish, we will have to fight for it. We'll have to nurture it. And we will have to demonstrate its value again and again in improving the lives of ordinary people. Democracy right now is under a lot of stress. Our current president is spreading misinformation about our country. He's making our current political system disorganized as he is focusing more on outlets that don't really need focusing on. With all of these acts being showed, he is showing traits of being more of a dictator and not wanting to uphold a free democracy for all citizens. So what is it, Trump?